Hi Libra, here's a general look at your solar chart for April 2014, and this is always quite a significant month for you because the Sun is in your opposite sign, and if you have a Libra rising, it's in your close relationship sector of your chart. And this April we have got quite a full agenda going on, and that's for all of the signs, but particularly the cardinal signs, and you're one of those. So we're in for some pretty strong influences over April, and one of those influences, a major one, is the configuration in the sky called the cardinal cross, which is 4 planets at the point of a cross making a square shape in the sky. So this is a cardinal grand cross, and then also we have the Sun lining up with Jupiter, Uranus and Pluto at the beginning of the month, just for a few days there, and then we have a lunar eclipse, and then we've got some Mercury thrown into that cardinal grand cross, which I'll try and explain in a minute, and then we've got a solar eclipse at the end of the month in Taurus on the 29th. So in this particular configuration, this pattern of this great square in the sky, we've got Mars. Mars is kind of lighting the fuse, which is why it could be quite significant. And this alignment is sort of lining up at the back end of March, and it's getting very tight and almost exact from around about mid-month onwards. And then it is still in orb, as we say in the trade, until into early May. And it is the reason why it is so such a kind of significant moment is because the Mars, the fiery planet Mars, is going to be lighting the fuse here. Mars is actually in your sign, and of course it's making everything, it's accelerating everything, it's making you very, very active and in demand. Or even if you're not in the mood to be active, it's sort of kind of poking you all the time with a stick, almost saying you've got to be active, you know, you've got to be proactive here, and come on, keep up. So Mars is actually going to be in reverse. Mars is going retrograde, which might be a kind of a good thing. It depends, but what I would say about it, Mars in your sign means that if you do have to initiate, if you've got to make a major decision and you've got to initiate like a major move in some direction, or you've got to throw the gauntlet down to someone, you've got to take an action against someone, or proceedings, or even launch into some sort of important negotiation, or just start on some sort of program, I would advise, as the astrologer, not to be doing that until Mars goes direct from May the 20th, because it's likely to pan out a lot more the way you would like it to, without the kind of hold-ups and snags that maybe Mars in reverse would be providing. Now, having said that, there is something I want to say about this Grand Cross, which is, in my book, what we should be focusing on, because we're getting a beautiful aspect from Venus onto this Grand Cross, not conflicting at all, because the whole shape is a conflicting, hot, it's got lots of friction in it, this great square in the sky between those 4, in fact 5 for a time, because Mercury's there as well, planets. But Venus happens to be your ruling planet, and she is in a very altruistic, sympathetic, sensitive mood during this Grand Cross, because she moves into Pisces from the 6th. And she is then lining up in this very positive angle to 3 of the players in this Grand Cross configuration. So she has the majority there in the palm of her gentle hand. And I'll try and explain that again in a minute, but she will actually open the door to us to finding our compassion more, finding not so much the differences between the yes, you know, the yes, no, the black, white, the should not, the have not, not the differences, but the commonalities, because we are all here together on the same earth, under the same sky. I mean, it's like that's the elephant in the room with all of our differences and our bickering all the time between nations, and in fact nations in the between themselves within a nation. But we are all here together, hurling through space on Starship Earth. So with Venus in this, yes, I will get off the soapbox. Venus is going to be the get out of jail card free card, because she's going to point the direction which is going to take us out of that very hot kitchen, as it were, or at least a little doorway out into the beautiful sort of cool breezes and the green grass outside. And even if you are feeling under pressure, things are really hotting up, then Venus, the position of Venus in this month is going to be the way for you to go. And actually, I've made a separate video about the Cardinal Grand Cross in general for everybody. So there was a new moon in Aries, your opposite sign, at the very end of March, and that is kind of just gently unfolding in the background over April, and you may be becoming more conscious of what's been holding you back in a partnership over April, something that's kind of maybe been hanging fire there. And then this solar eclipse on the 29th of April, on that day you should be taking a positive step in the direction of sorting out the material financial situation. When I say material, I mean anything to do with property, anything to do with possessions, and just general resources, assets, that you can capitalize on. And there could also be a new chapter in a relationship, and this is the time to initiate a strategy to support that. So putting out that statement of intent on that day, then the way it works with solar eclipses, that unfolds over the next 6 months. Okay. Now, as always at this time of the year, until the 20th, you'll benefit more in a duo or in a very close team. You can go further, have far more success within a close interaction with others. It might be a series of others, but very much in an alliance and in a mutual interaction or attraction. Until the 8th, Mercury is focusing your mind upon the to-do list, daily schedules, and discussing things around that, ideas, conversations. All of that has a real practical slant. Then from the 8th, communications, personal, professional, are very much, between you and another. That's when Mercury comes into about the relationship or within the relationship, not so much about the to-do list and the repairs and the maintenance and everything as before. It bouncing ideas off each other, speculating, maybe you being seen as the information go-between, maybe you finding somebody who can give you information, who is the go-between, who can translate in some sort of a way. And but around mid-month there could be a change in the dynamic of a close relationship, so watch that space. From the 23rd, Mercury moves, and rather, I'm going to deal with the sun first. Then the sun from the 20th goes into a deeper area of your chart. It's probably the deepest, where emotions are concerned. Something could touch you very deeply from the 20th onwards, and you will be mulling over some deeper questions, asking you, trying to be really honest with yourself. And then I call it a gear change house, because there's going to be a transition here from one stretch of road or one realization, or rather a previous set of kind of values to a new realization, and that kind of thing. It could be very minor, it could be pretty major. So you must allow your instinct to tell you the best way to go and the best way to hold yourself in the situation. And also you're going to be more sensitive yourself, but more sensitive to the feelings of others, I think. Then from the 23rd, when Mercury moves, Mercury then moves into underpin that position of the sun. So therefore, communications become more maybe confidential, secretive, strategic, involved. You may be again pondering the financial angle, a venue, a space, a contract, an agreement, anything like that. And you have to liaise with another. You haven't just got a free hand here. You've got to keep liaising, keep referring to, or even deferring to another before the deal is sealed, whatever that's about, even if it's just in your head. Venus now, as the month kicks off, Venus is in quite a spontaneous area, freewheeling area, creative, and maybe there's the sort of happy connections with children, young people, romantic partners, pets as well, but also a creative enterprise of some kind, or indeed it could be like a leisure project or something that you get into doing with a friend or partner that you really enjoy, and sort of social get-togethers here, and a kind of warm feeling there. But then from the 6th, when Venus goes into Pisces, there's this more practical mode. This very much favors teamwork, you working with another in very practical ways, very kind of maybe physical ways to do with health. It can be as well, but also very much, many hands making, or at least 2 pairs of hands making light work with the repairs, the maintenance, or whatever it is. You're likely to be in a cooperative frame of mind there, wanting to serve, wanting to help, but also others ditto, coming back to you, the same kind of cooperative frame of mind. And if there has been an ongoing problem, you're likely to find just the right person there, likely to be a female, but not 100%. It can be just somebody that you click with to help you out with that problem, to help you to resolve that problem, and give you the advice, the practical help, that kind of thing. And it can be good news for you health-wise, or somebody you're concerned about health-wise as well. Now, that is that get out of jail free card sort of area. If you just concentrate on that connecting in a way where you can be whatever help you can be in a practical, make yourself useful. That's it, really. That's what it boils down to, without questioning, judging, criticizing, unless, of course, you can see something's going outrageously wrong. But, within reason, just make yourself useful. Now, Saturn's in this very long transit of this materialistic sector of your sun sign chart. Came in there in October 2012, and it will be leaving, Christmas Eve 2014, but actually it will be just nipping into the very last degrees for a short time in 2015. But unless you were born very late in Libra, so you earlier Librans are going to be, you middle Librans, middle towards, and then towards the end of Libra, going to be feeling it this year. And if you want to know the exact dates of birth that Saturn is mostly affecting this month, then you can find that all written up on my website. And this is about you taking more seriously the material, physical side of your life, and making very disciplined efforts to manage that side of your life, the piggy bank, making the most of resources, making the most of assets, and acquiring, but also maybe ditching or tweaking, really modifying a previous arrangement or idea around that very practical, basic side of life. And gradually this side of things will take shape, whether it's cash or vegetables or anything in between. There's going to be obstacles on the way. There's going to be adversity. There's going to be holdups. There's going to be spanners in the works, because that's how Saturn operates. She's character building. And you have to remember to be kind to yourself, not criticize yourself, not judge yourself because, I could have done that better. Why did I make that decision way back then? Look what it's sort of dumped me in here now. Don't take your eye off the ball, because that is just kind of self-talk, which is negative, which is going to bring down your vibration. And so just be consistent and persevere. Let that stubborn side of Libra come in there. Now Mars is in your sign. Like I said before, lots of hustle and bustle, more hustle and bustle. Your vitality needed, your decision making needed, your leadership needed. And if you are, for whatever the reason, kind of a bit ground down during this Mars transit, then you need to be looking after yourself so that you can be helpful and wonderfully creative and enterprising, not only for yourself but for others as well. And this is the time for you to get the ball rolling on things, but if it's already rolling, you've just got to run to catch up. And so look after yourself. But Mars likes to initiate things. Don't let him run you ragged. He can really do that because Mars doesn't have an off switch, and you need to regenerate, take time for rest and recuperation. But overall, this is your opportunity to get with whatever the program is, because you can actually be really successful, productive, and cover a lot of ground during this long Mars transit here, and improve things for yourself and your nearest and dearest as well. But don't overstretch and just watch your step. Don't trip over your own shoelaces. Now, until next July, Jupiter will be in your area of career and or life direction, opening doors swinging open for different choices about where you go from here in life. And you may be really scratching your head and puzzling about, well, which is the best way for me to go? But if you just hold this thought that this is the time when choices should be based upon the chance that you can identify more closely with what you do for a living, like coming from your inner self. Like, it's not just about an ego stroking exercise or just for the money, although you might, if it depends on the degree here in your natal chart. But if you can see that if you did that and then did that, that would take you to the place where you really want to be. You see, it's like stepping stones. Or you might be at the stage where, you've just got to trust and leap directly to that place where you're inside your heart tells you really would feel most comfortable to be. And so this is the time when you should, if you can, if you're that close to it, make that choice, which is going to help you to identify from your core with what you do out there in the world for a living. Or if it's not about career and profession for you, then go in that direction, in your life, and set yourself up for it and say, I'm here and I'm ready, because sometimes we've got to do that to let the vibration come to us, and help us in the way that, deliver in the way that it really can. And that's it for April. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to the forecast for those. If you want to know more about which parts of your sign are being affected by the transits this month, that's going to be on my website. And I'll see you the next time.